Hallo miteinander, I'm Gashady6 and this is Ghost Hunter Reimu. Last time we stopped a hopeless masquerade and revealed that Reimu is not as unaffected by the spook of Hakukyokuro as we thought she was. We also ended on a pun that, as you'll discover now, was completely cringeworthy, as we are indeed at a graveyard. The first and second sections of it are so simple that now is really the best time to assess our location, take in all the creepiness of a resting place for the dead. Again, the stage will shape up as we get further in it, but the beginning of this one was especially tame. Nonetheless, the fireballs we just destroyed were a little different, blue instead of red. Yes, the game is throwing stronger versions of known enemies at us, and the fireballs are not the only ones to change. While the graveyard is far from the worst stage, I wouldn't exactly recommend starting with it. But if you hate the attic even more than I do, feel free to come here earlier. That level even cost us our consumable, which is quite the loss. But on the other hand, it gave us an excuse to buy an even better one. The little yellow pile that's displayed to us now is a full recovery potion. To me it looks much more like powdered medicine than a potion, but that's what our translation declares it as. Just to quickly throw it in, boxes like these two can be a pretty cool safety barrier. Enemy shots will be blocked and never break them. Only your own attacks can do that. So, pretending as if Ghost Hunter Reimu was a cover shooter is not as stupid as it sounds. Back to our new consumable, the full recovery potion gives back all hit points, which may be more than the 7 of the large potion. It also brings our magic points all the way back to full. In conclusion, it's an item best used when you're drained on all fronts. It's unlikely to coincide, but should you also be poisoned when you use it, it'll get rid of that as well. The recovery potion really is the ultimate consumable to me, so long as you can afford it. Let's hope we don't have to use it too soon, as replacing it would be very bad for our soul wallet. I like to believe Reimu carries a small pouch with her for trapping souls. But with what we saw last episode, I fear she herself is the container. Up here is another dangerous purple crystal. Remember when we feared those and wouldn't land the last hit? That is so long in the past now. We are very powerful. The Skull Conjurers, by the way, also come in multiple designs. Those in white robes aren't too bad, but some, like the one at the start of the water stage, have black robes. That made it extra tough, took ages to destroy back then. Black-robed Skull Conjurers also summon 4 instead of 2 skull piles at once. We are lucky to be so experienced now that we can take on all kinds of palette swaps. A little ways from here is a green lady ghost, an improved version of the blue lady ghost. Is it weird that I just identify them from the color of their hair? Whatever. Very daring maneuver here, we almost brushed the spikes. Last episode we have unfortunately hit a wall when it comes to developing Reimu. You may have read in the forum that we are now at the weight limit of 12 equipment slots. To sum all that up in short, we can't pile on any new gear without taking some away. I'll tell you more about it once we've plundered the treasure corner of this section and gotten back from it. One tip for this spike hazard. You want to dissolve the blocks on each side of it before jumping. That'll make it much less likely for you to impale your head, and that's not a sight we want to see. So back to what I was saying, the weight limit is why we are not using wave attack this episode. We just had to make room. Ghost power is also gone. Taking that along was more of a gag on my part anyway. Of course, we also have some new stuff. Among it is Spell Enhancement 2. If you have both spell enhancements equipped, ranged attacks will really pack a punch. Ironic that at this moment we are not using spells, but we have done so a lot today. Energy bolts alone are so much more effective now, often one-shotting smaller enemies. While I consider our Reimu a balanced character with the current loadout, Spell Enhancement 1 and 2 are a must-have if you are focusing on her magic rather than brawn. Once again, the nature of spells changes with additional enhancements. Here's a good example. We can make 10 far-spreading icicles on a single cast now. That is quite something. But let's not get carried away. We need to mention the other ability we bought and put on, Guard Beheader Enhancement. Yup, the already amazing Guard Beheader can be further improved. Our strikes will delete bullets at an even greater distance now. Oh, we better interrupt our talk and concentrate on super jumping now, which I failed to show last episode. It goes really high. Know what's even better? You can combine it with a drop jump. This makes the horrifically evil version of Reimu a real expert on jumping puzzles. Too bad there weren't really any difficult ones in sight, so we got rid of her. It was a very short visit this time. At least it made getting over here a little simpler, where some refreshments await us. Back to Guard Beheader Enhancement. As much as I am a fan of it, I feel like we underutilized it a little this episode. The problem was that we've been steamrolling enemies so hard, they didn't even have the chance to fire that many bullets at us. Nevertheless, if you value the ability to swipe away danger, it's a smart move to make it even easier. We've been speeding through this stage. It's partly because the graveyard isn't very complicated, although this 7th section has a few clever parts. I do like that you have to teleport to the key, no other way to get on its small platform. This passage with the thin pillars under slime droplets can also be a little nerve-wracking. The golden rule is to not have yourself be rushed. If you're not confident or are already doing bad on health, know that it is entirely for completion and doesn't advance you towards the boss. 2 more hops, and we are past the worst of it. One more word about the weight limit. It is fixed at 12 slots for us, but that may not be the only value it can have. If you choose light mode on file creation, you'll have 15 slots, so beginners get a little bit more freedom on their loadout configuration. There's also the chance you may have only 10 slots. If so, your game is still unpatched. I guess originally BlueMica thought 10 slots was appropriate, but they raised it quickly after release. The latest version at the moment is 1.2.0. The mask may still bug out in it. Unfortunately, that's a feature to stay. We're at our destination, and what could we be up against? Very fitting would be a zombie or Jiangshi in reference to Miyako from 10 Desires Cemetery stage, but no, it is a big spider. This encounter can feel very slow-paced if you have unsuitable equipment or don't know how to best position yourself. Personally, I like to wait near the green potions for the spider's appearance, if I can. It will stay just long enough to get off one of its many attacks. Among them are once again the maelstroms. They cannot be cancelled by Guard Beheader, by the way. They'd be laughable if it were so. Poison spray can be, as I once said. Should you still get poisoned, that's what the 2 green potions at the ledges are for. Very considerate of the game to provide antidotes. Be sure not to touch them when you're not poisoned. Otherwise they'll disappear completely wasted. Another way of attack for the spider is to spawn cute flesh-eating babies. How about we guess whose spirit inhabits this doll? Maybe Muffet or Chaos Witch Quelaag? Close. It was the Toho with the most junk in the trunk, Yamame. Overall, this went well. We were fairly lucky with where the spider lowered itself. In my earliest attempt, this fight went on and on, I tell you. It was pretty bad and boring. It's a good thing you weren't around to see that. With that, I'm Gash86, this was Ghost Hunter Reimu, and next time, a cherry blossom so perfect it is to die for. Bis bald!